Some workers marched to honor Cesar Chavez's birthday and legacy.
Jesus, he bit my finger off.
A Venice restaurant owner had part of his finger bitten off in an attack by another man. Some CSUN students pick fruit to donate to the Food Forward organization during Southern California's peak citrus harvest.
This is Valley View News.
Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Jamie Pittenger.
And I'm Nikki Hathaway.
People from throughout Los Angeles took part in the 22nd annual Cesar Chavez March from Mission Hills to Pacoima. Valley View reporter Courtney Williams joins us from the newsroom with more on the celebration.
Cesar Chavez was best known for starting the National Farm Workers Association in 1962. It later became the United Farm Workers, or UFW, but his activism grew to involve the broader fight for human rights and problems of the working poor. Chavez lives, the fight goes on, is what the crowd shouted as they celebrated Cesar Chavez. Workers marched down Brand Boulevard in honor of the 22nd Cesar Chavez March for Justice, observing his birthday and legacy. Chavez used marches, strikes, and boycotts to fight against unfair labor conditions for farm workers. Mayor Garcetti says he wants a living wage for all workers and discussed his personal connection to the march.
Great workers like our UFCW members right here. Both of my grandparents were UFCW members. One, an immigrant from Mexico who came over the border in his grandmother's arms. The second one, the daughter of immigrants from Mexico who came here. Because UFCW gave them a decent wage, I am the 42nd mayor of this city today.
High school students participated in the rally as well to support their parents, hoping wages increase by the time they get older. The Cesar Chavez Commemorative Committee wants to continue his work by supporting recent boycotts.
Time for us to assert our rights, our civil rights. It's about never being submissive.
Cesar Chavez's belief of nonviolent protests successfully brought farmers to the negotiating table and improved their lives. Chavez's family also attended the march.
And all the people of the San Fernando Valley for continuing to commemorate the life and legacy of my grandfather, but more importantly for continuing to fight for justice for all people and continuing to fight for equality for all people. It is obvious today because of the theme of the march, a living wage for all.
Cesar Chavez died of natural causes in 1993 at the age of 66. He was buried at the National Chavez Center in Keene, California. A portrait of the labor leader and human rights activist hangs in the National Portrait Gallery in Washington, D.C.
2 teenagers are in stable condition after being shot in a CSU Los Angeles parking lot. Police say the 18-year-old man and the 14-year-old boy were driving a van around campus challenging people. Neither of them are students at CSU LA. Police say at about 9 p.m., the two parked on the campus and were shot by an unidentified suspect. Authorities suspect the attack was linked to gang activity.
A missing University of California Berkeley student has been found dead. 19-year-old Eloy Vasquez was hit by a car on Interstate 10 after attending a fraternity party near USC. He left the party around 1:30 Saturday morning, telling his friends that he wanted to run to the beach. Vasquez called a friend 45 minutes later, saying he was lost and worried. The UC Berkeley Athletics Department says Vasquez was a wonderful young man who excelled both academically and athletically.
A Venice restaurant owner has lost part of a finger after a brutal attack. Police say a man they describe as a transient bit off part of the victim's finger. We caution viewers that this report includes graphic descriptions of the assault. Valley View News reporter Brianna Ruffalo has the story.
Somebody said, "Clabe, you're bleeding." And I looked at my hand, I said, Jesus, he bit my finger off.
For 26 years, Clabe Hartley has owned the Cow's End Cafe in Venice, but nothing could have prepared him for the day that he'd need to be rushed to the ER. Around 9:15 on a Saturday morning, Hartley recognized a transient customers say had been harassing them at his restaurant. After asking the man to leave, he attacked Hartley, biting part of his left ring finger off.
I was bleeding like an open faucet. There was blood all over out there. And I could see the openness. It was missing a piece.
One of his customers found the missing piece of his finger on the floor. 4 men ran to help Hartley, but the 5 of them together couldn't hold the aggravated man down. Police got there within minutes, and Hartley was rushed to the hospital.
We showed him a detached piece, and they analyzed it, took it to another hand surgeon, and he said, we can't put this back on, because when he ripped it, it was almost like it was chewed.
He lost half of his ring finger and now has almost 50 stitches. Other business owners along Washington Boulevard have had problems with the same transient in the past. Many locals are saying the growing homeless population in Venice is becoming a problem, and police say there's an upward trend in crime in the area. But Venice local David Wilson says that's not the case.
I think everyone is pretty much welcome here, so it attracts all kinds of people. But at the same token, generally these people are really nice who show up here.
And although Hartley's missing part of his finger and is still shaken up, he says he wouldn't live anywhere else.
Last night, today, hundreds of people have come by. That's a tight community. That's a wonderful, loving community that look out for each other.
Well, police identified the man as 31-year-old Jonathan Lemons and say he's facing 1 felony count each for criminal threats and aggravated mayhem. In Venice, I'm Brianna Ruffalo, Valley View News.
President Obama and 19 other world leaders had their passport numbers mistakenly released. Australia's immigration department made the error after receiving the information at the G20 summit last year. The Guardian newspaper reported an official accidentally sent passport, visa, and other information of the leaders to organizers of the Asian Cup football tournament. The Australians say Asian Cup officials immediately destroyed the data. They say they have strengthened email procedures to tighten security.
A National Security Agency police officer shot 2 men who tried to ram the main gate at NSA headquarters in Maryland. One of the people was killed and the other was severely injured. The FBI is working with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Maryland to see if federal charges will be filed. This is the second security breach involving the NSA in a month. The FBI does not believe that either incident is related to terrorism.
St. Louis police say a man was assaulted on a train after his attackers asked him about the Michael Brown case. The man was on his way home when another man sat down and asked to borrow his cell phone.
He asked me my opinion on the Michael Brown thing, and I responded I was too tired to think about it right now. And he stood up, and next thing I know, he sucker punches me right in the middle of my face.
This video of the attack was taken on another passenger's cell phone. 1 man started the beating and 2 other men joined in. All 3 suspects are believed to be in their 20s. Surveillance videos reportedly show the faces of the suspects. Police say the 3 men face assault charges if they're caught.
We still don't know the co-pilot's motive in the Germanwings crash. The prosecutor's office in Dusseldorf says there's no evidence suggesting he was suicidal before the crash. There's been much speculation about his mental state. Authorities say they found a letter in the trash at his apartment.
His doctors documented him to be unable to work and to fly. But these documents don't show any hint of being suicidal or being aggressive against other people.
Lubitz told a doctor he was too stressed with work, but the date of the visit is not known. Airline officials say he would have been required to notify his supervisors if he was unfit to fly. It is believed that Lubitz locked the captain out of the cockpit and intentionally crashed the plane in the French Alps. 150 people were killed in the crash.
The murder case of Amanda Knox and Raffaele Sollecito has been overturned by Italy's High Court. They were accused of killing Meredith Kircher in 2007. The former couple had been convicted of murder by 2 separate courts, but the High Court ruling is final.
What comes to mind is my gratitude for the life that's been given to me.
Knox and Sollecito could sue Italy for false imprisonment. The Kircher family's lawyer says they are disappointed with the failure to find justice for Meredith.
In the days leading up to the nuclear deal deadline with Iran, officials stayed hopeful for a program to help avoid nuclear bomb developments. CNN says Iran is anxious to hold on to as much of its nuclear program as possible, but is eager to get rid of the sanctions restraining their economy. Other countries negotiating with Iran are the UK, France, China, and Germany. If they come to an agreement, they'll have until June to make it complete and work out more details.
One of the first U.S. pennies ever made has been sold for $1.2 million at a Baltimore auction. The coin is known as Birch cent. It was made in 1792, just after Congress authorized the 1-cent coin. The $1 million penny is about twice the size of the modern penny. Collectors say there are 10 more of these original pennies in existence.
The world of journalism is changing. California State University Northridge students get a front row seat in coding and a first look at new storytelling iPhone application. Valley View's Sabella Scalise sat down with the creator of this new app.
I'm here with CEO and founder of Everybit, Eric Ortiz. Now, Eric, tell me about yourself and your company, Everybit.
Everybit is a mobile-first storytelling tool that enables anyone to tell a story on a smartphone using any type of media, audio, video, photo, text, drawings, and more. We're in private beta, plan to roll out in the Apple App Store this spring, probably within a month. We'll have a free version available for anyone to download and use to tell stories. Believe that storytelling and crowdsourcing can play a big part in the future of news and journalism.
Mm-hmm. And so how did you get started with this, and what inspired you and motivated you to create Everybit?
So my background is in sports journalism. I was a digital editor at ESPN.com and founding editor at NESN.com, which is a website for New England Sports Network, which is the home of the Boston Red Sox, Boston Bruins. And we did a lot of live blogs on live storytelling of events and games. And we identified a problem was creating mobile content in the field on smartphones. There were a lot of opportunities to gather rich content, but the media ecosystem is very fragmented, so we had to use a lot of different apps to capture the media and then distribute it. We couldn't tell the whole story in one place, and then we couldn't monetize that content. So, I thought it would be good to create a tool that streamlined the process, made it easy to do everything in one place, an app that you could capture all your media, publish it, distribute it, share it, and monetize it. So I applied for a night fellowship at Stanford, which is a journalism media innovation fellowship. Annual thing. They take 20 fellows each year for journalists from around the world and give them a year to spend at Stanford, immersed in Stanford University, Silicon Valley. So I was fortunate enough to get the fellowship, and I used that as a launchpad incubator for last year, 2013-2014 academic year. I was at Stanford developing Everybit prototype, and then we started testing our alpha last April, and then the fellowship ended in June, and I continued working on Everybit full time, and now we've been beta testing since last July.
Mm-hmm. And so you held a couple events, and you're holding one today. Can you tell me about your event with 7 Generation Games and Sabio?
We all had a meetup together, brought people in Santa Monica. We had about 60 people come, and we all talked about our companies, interacted with the guests. We wanted to, everyone has founders who are Latino for those companies, and diversifying tech and the technology field is a very important, opportunity in Los Angeles and just universally around the world. And so it was a good opportunity for us to interact with the public and then also showcase what we do, what we're capable of doing, and we're really excited about the possibilities of diversifying tech and just the ed tech field, and then what we're doing with storytelling and mobile technology. I think it has great impact to change the world.
Great. Can you talk about your event with the CSUN journalism students today?
It's a 1-hour workshop, and introduce some people to coding and show that anyone can do it. Honored to be here to talk about coding. I think is really important in journalism right now, and just it's a skill that everyone, it's become the a new language that everyone needs to know how, have some fluency in, just to communicate. Technology is the future, and the future of communication, and people who know how to code are going to have more opportunities. Right now, the demand for developers and coders is high, and there's not the supply is low.
And last question, what do you see in the future for Everybit and coding and journalism?
We have big plans for Everybit. We believe that we'd like to see it in the hands of everyone around the world using, as many people as possible using Everybit. The app will be in the App Store soon, so I encourage everyone to download it, use it. It's a lot of fun to use. Can tell stories, in real time, very fast, and then you can collaborate with others. But we plan to turn Everybit into a big, successful business, and that's what we do. Think about 24/7 out, and so very excited about that.
Great. Well, thank you for coming, and that's all. Back to you.
Still to come, we will find out if all the #1 seeds in the NCAA basketball tournament managed to reach the Final Four stage.
Get Widowmakers.
Dude, you better not be illegally downloading movies again. I don't want a virus on my computer. Seriously.
Yes!
Got it.
They got it. What an idiot.
When you rip off copyrighted material, someone could be ripping you off.
Where's my money?
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
And for sports, let's toss the ball to Randy Fries.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, the NCAA is one step closer to naming its national champion. The final 4 teams remaining in the tournament are Wisconsin, Kentucky, Duke, and Michigan State. The Wildcats remain the only undefeated team in all of college basketball. They will play the Wisconsin Badgers. The 2 teams met each other in last year's Final Four when Kentucky ended Wisconsin's season. On the other side of the bracket, the Duke Blue Devils will face off against Michigan State. Michigan State is the lowest remaining seed in the tournament with a ranking of 7. Both games will be played at the Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. The Mexican national soccer team has come to Los Angeles to train for 2 upcoming tournaments. Valley View's Jose Sainz reports El Tri will have a busy schedule with 2 FIFA Confederation competitions.
2 competitive teams is all the head coach of the Mexican national soccer team needs for this upcoming summer. Starting in June, Mexico will be competing in the South American regional tournament Copa America, followed by their participation in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Mexico began to prepare for both competitions in Los Angeles as part of its first U.S. tour of the year, where the team spent 4 days practicing in the Southland, allowing head coach Miguel Herrera to get a good idea of which players he'll play in either of the tournaments and start laying out his strategy to the team.
We want to see our forwards and wingers moving around and have some type of base with regards to our style of play. It's important that our players have a good idea of what we want to do on the pitch once we get together again.
Herrera was able to put some of his ideas into action in a friendly match against Ecuador, where a goal in the 14th minute by Javier Chicharito Hernandez proved to be the difference in the match, along with a blocked penalty shot by Jesus Corona.
Ecuador is a team with so many fast and strong players. We expect to play against guys like that in the Gold Cup. And today we got a little taste of what's to come.
This was the 16th win that Mexico gets over Ecuador in 22 matches between the 2 squads. The victory against Ecuador not only served as a confidence booster for the Mexican national team, it also allowed head coach Miguel Herrera to give some playing time to some players who haven't had enough minutes in their clubs, like Javier Chicharito Hernandez, who managed to score the only goal of the match. The players are positive that they can continue to have Herrera's confidence and carry on the success they had in the World Cup onto this summer's competitions.
Thankfully, we've built a good group. We've worked well, and Miguel has great ideas for us on the field. Little by little, we're doing important things. A lot of the players that play in Mexico or abroad are working hard every day to bring our skills and knowledge to the national team.
Before departing to South America in June, Mexico will have another tour in the U.S. to finalize their preparation. In Los Angeles, Jose Sainz, Valley View News.
Soccer star Lionel Messi has been ranked as the most valuable player in Europe's soccer leagues. An official review of his performance declared Messi the best player of the season. The study focuses on 6 categories, including a player's shooting and ability to set up shots on goal. Messi is tied with Cristiano Ronaldo with the most goals in the Champions League. Both scored 75. Ronaldo failed to score well in all aspects of his game and is only rated as the 29th best player. College football player Jonathan Taylor has been arrested on 2 domestic violence charges. He was dismissed from the Alabama Crimson Tide, which he joined in January. Taylor was also thrown off from Georgia's football team last year after being arrested on a felony charge of aggravated assault. Tiger Woods has dropped out of the World Top 100 for the first time in almost 2 decades. He is currently ranked 104th in the world and continues to suffer from injuries. Woods had not been out of the top 100 since 1996 when he was just 20 years old. He's been on the sidelines since the Farmers Insurance Open in February. It's unclear whether he will be playing in this year's Masters. The 31st annual WrestleMania in Santa Clara was a huge success. The event was held in the 49ers Stadium and drew more than 76,000 fans. That's a record. The San Jose Mercury News reports the previous record for the stadium was just over 71,000. During the main match, Seth Rollins defeated Brock Lesnar Roman to win the WWE title. Boxer Manny Pacquiao has purchased a new home in Beverly Hills. He paid $12.5 million for the 10,000 square foot mansion. The 36-year-old fighter was apparently involved in a bidding war with 2 other buyers, but Pacquiao included 4 tickets to his fight against Floyd Mayweather. Pacquiao's realtor says the sellers were big fans of boxing and the tickets were an added help to seal the deal. His fight will take place on May 2nd at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. An estimated 10,000 to 12,000 homeless people live in the San Fernando Valley. It's difficult for them to find even basics like a hot shower. Valley View's Julio Huerta took a ride on a truck that goes the extra mile to provide showers to those most in need.
Showers. We all take them, some of us more than others. But for some, this hygiene practice does not come around as often as they would like. This trailer goes out every week to different parts of the San Fernando Valley to provide dozens of showers to those in need of one.
San Fernando Valley Rescue Mission has had this program called SOS for over 5 to 6 years now.
This trailer isn't just a mobile shower, complete with hot water. For the people that benefit from it, it's so much more than that.
It gets you to feel human again. Yeah, just the only downside is only once a week, but it does make you feel better. And a lot of them really need it.
It's amazing how something as simple as a hot shower has the power to make the people who benefit from this service feeling
like a new man. You know, wash off all the, for lack of better terms, stuff. You come out and say, I feel human again, you know.
As the truck continues its journey through the streets of the valley from location to location, providing this temporary relief, the people that used it have no choice but to go back to old practices in order to keep themselves clean.
I would use a hose and cold water and find a place that had a faucet.
In Silmar, Julio Huerta, Valley View News.
And that's all for sports. Back to you.
Thanks, Randy. After the break, we'll find out who's going to replace Jon Stewart on The Daily Show.
Every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still
buy me treats. You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day, more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net.
And now let's toss it over to Jose Saenz with the latest scoop in entertainment.
Thank you, Nikki. Comedy Central has announced who will replace Jon Stewart on The Daily Show. On-air contributor Trevor Noah will host the show after Stewart stepped down later this year. Noah is a 31-year-old comedian from South Africa and becomes the third person to host The Daily Show. His father is Swiss and German, and his mother is from South Africa's Xhosa tribe. Noah was born during the apartheid era in South Africa. The announcement comes after Noah made 3 appearances on the show. Many South Africans took to Twitter to express support and pride in Noah's appointment. First Lady Michelle Obama has helped celebrate the beauty and power of black women. The yearly event called Black Girls Rocked is designed to encourage African American girls. Some of the women honored by the First Lady include actress Jada Pinkett Smith and singer Erykah Badu. The event will air on BET Sunday, April 5th at 7 in the evening. Angelina Jolie made a compelling speech at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. She told the young audience that when she was growing up, she was told she was different. Jolie also told the youngsters that it is good to be different. She took home the award for favorite villain in Maleficent. Jolie recently had a second surgery to lower her risk of cancer. She carries genes making her more susceptible to breast and ovarian cancer. The numbers are in, and DreamWorks' computer animated movie Home wins the box office race. Home stars Jennifer Lopez and Rihanna took in $54 million on its opening weekend. The Warner Brothers comedy Get Hard was second with over $34 million. The Divergent sequel Insurgent earned $22 million in its second weekend. Disney's Cinderella and the horror flick It Follows round out the top 5. The spring season is bringing fresh fruit to the San Fernando Valley. Our reporter Sabella Scalise has more on the organization that helps donate food straight from residential front and backyards.
Volunteers in the Northridge area are spending their Sundays on a pick. A pick is a group of volunteers picking fruits or vegetables in residential neighborhoods for the organization Food Forward. This pick in particular is only California State University Northridge students. CSUN senior Spencer Ruskin talks about what his group is doing in their pick.
Because this is an orange grove, or what it used to be, all the trees are lined up, kind of equally apart on both sides of the street, or what's left of the orange grove is. And most of it is, a lot of high-hanging fruit, so we kind of have to reach up with our pickers to get to most of the fruit that can be picked.
Volunteers are responsible for picking and cleaning all the fruit, as well as putting them in eco-friendly Food Forward boxes. Pick leader Joanna Dela Cruz says where the fruit goes after a pick is done.
They help to donate to local food pantries and everything like that, such as like the Family Rescue Center and Fish, because it's really hard to find local fresh produce, like other than canned goods and stuff. So they take it and they donate it there. All proceeds go to the families.
Northridge resident Janet Spiegel enjoys being part of Food Forward and donating her fruit trees to a cause.
I've been on waiting list, I think, for a couple of years, and then this year there were enough volunteers to come out. It makes me very happy because the fruit is going to get used instead of just feeding the local squirrels.
Food Forward promotes healthy living and encourages students to get out, pick fruit, and help with hunger in our community. Once picks are finished, the fruit is boxed and the volunteers wait for Food Forward representatives to pick them up. In Northridge, Sabella Scalise, Valley View News.
That's all for entertainment. Now back to you.
Thank you for watching Valley View News. I'm Nikki Hathaway.
And I'm Jamie Pinger. Have a great week.